Good evening, everyone. A very warm welcome to today's session on Confused Career Club. So, I was talking about how we have been getting queries about people getting students, wherein they are very confused in what career to do, right? Sometimes they're like, okay, bang on, I want to do this career itself. But sometimes they're really overwhelmed with the amount of options available out there. So, this session is aimed to help students get that clarity, right? As a counselor, we should have some skills up our sleeves to address these queries. And I'm going to make sure that I provide you with ample of tools and ample of prompts to give to their students so they can think along these lines. I want this workshop to be really interactive, so feel free to give me any inputs as we talk. And if any experience you would have had likewise, then feel free to share with me. We would be more than happy to listen. For the icebreaker bit of the session, what I want to do is, I want you to tell me one career that you dreamt of becoming as a child. Maybe something unexpected or something that you really wanted to be, but you did not pursue it. In the chat box or unmute yourself.
But a child wants to be entrepreneur. That's what I'm hearing these days.
Entrepreneurs, a lot of startups these days. Yes.
Yeah,
Anything that you wanted to become as a child and you realize that that's too unrealistic for me.
I think already onto the journey. I was also onto the similar mindset, and I am onto that
Yeah.
journey right now.
Yeah, Mehul made it a point that he becomes an entrepreneur.
Yeah, spent 14 years in
Rajan?
the corporate, and then finally kind of made a courage to join over here.
Yes. Career switches for people who are not there yet.
Ma'am, I have a funny story.
Okay, please go ahead.
Mine was that in class, I think class 8th, you are given this option that you can drop science and maths. And
Mhm.
then I took it. And 10th के बाद I couldn't continue. So
Mhm.
हमारे स्कूल में ऐसा होता था कि साइंस एंड मैथ्स नहीं है तो फिर आप कुछ नहीं कर सकते तो मेरे अंदर तो उन्होंने यही बना दिया था कि फिर मैं कुछ नहीं कर सकती तो देन मैंने अपना दिमाग बना दिया कि ठीक है कोई बात नहीं शादी वादी करके सेटल हो जाऊंगी एंड देन फिर जब मैं उस पोजीशन पे आई तब मेरे को लगा कि नहीं शादी करने का कोई फायदा नहीं है बिकॉज मैंने आसपास के लोगों को देखा दे वर वेरी अनहैप्पी सो देन तब मुझे ऐसा हो कि नहीं कुछ करना है लाइफ में सो देन आई स्टार्टेड टेली कॉलिंग मतलब वो हो गया कि उस टाइम तक मेरे पास ये टाइम नहीं था कि फिर मैं कुछ आगे ग्रेजुएशन हो चुका था तो फिर मैं आगे कुछ कर सकती एंड देन बीकॉम कर रखा था तो उसका भी कोई स्कोप नहीं था सो देन आई स्टार्टेड बीपीओज एंड फाइनली थैंक गॉड दैट गॉड गिव मी अ चांस टू फ्लाई एज अ कैबिन क्रू एंड दैट वाज आल्सो फॉर अ चांस कि चांस से हो गया था तो फिर जब वो मिला तो मैंने वो पकड़ के रखा 10 साल कुछ भी क्लूलेस थी मैं और कुछ मिला तो आई बट नाउ 10 plus years फॉर फ्लाइंग अब हो गए तो नाउ माई हेल्थ स्टार्टेड गिविंग अप ऑन मी सो नाउ आई एम हियर तो अभी भी मैं क्लूलेस हूँ मैम तो भगवान
Yeah.
भरोसे टाइप्स आई एम
But you are a career counselor here with us. So that's also one of your identities, right? That now, after a long journey of cabin crew, we are a career counselor. Great. So coming back to our discussion, I know students have this lot of myths that you have to know that what you are doing, at least by your 20s. But even we had. Okay, by 20, I will have it all figured out, or at least 25, I'll be owning, right? And I'll be well off. But we know deep inside that it happened a little slower. We had a lot of high expectations from ourselves, and students do that too. So, whenever I'm saying these myths, I want you to normalize this for the children, right? It's okay to have that, and it's necessary to have that. And that's what gives us a head start for a long time, right? We think that our first job is going to be our forever job. Like, we are going to be settled, everything is just, we are going to get career hikes after hikes, and it's going to be really easy for us to, get this career ladder. We think that this path is the only one for us. People have seen people give a lot of competitive exams back to back because they have been ingrained into thinking that this is the only career path for me. So when children tell me this, I think that it's not a ladder. Career is not a ladder, but it's going to be like a jungle that you're going to find yourself moving around, finding out things. Some road have dead end. Somewhere you have to take a reverse, and some have a very beautiful sunset ahead of you, right? So, yes, career journey is different for everyone. Coming to some of the messy stories, like if I feel the child is really demotivated, I make it a point that it's not just about them. I put them into shoes of other people. I make them understand some famous people, like we know Steve Jobs, J.K. Rowling for that matter. She was a single mother. She was living on welfare. She was battling depression, and she was writing in cafes because AC conditioning was cheaper there as compared to the light bill she got at. Right? She was rejected by 12 publishers before she actually got approved of Harry Potter. And now I don't even need to tell you how big Harry Potter is. Right? She is one of the successful authors in the history today. Right? Was her story clean? Was it predictable? Did she knew that she's going to make it this big? No. But trying and attempting is the best. And coming to you, like people who are career counselors coming to us, is what we like, we aim to make a difference to such people. Right? Normalizing is one thing that I'm going to keep coming back to again and again because these children think it's a taboo to be confused about the careers that they are in or they want to pursue. So, yes, normalizing that anxiety is going to be very important. Coming to the practical aspect of this workshop, I'm going to give you a toolkit. Okay. Feel free to write it down, feel free to note it down because I'm going to share some dialogues with you. I'm going to share some, techniques with you, how you can enable thoughts from these child, how you can make them thinking. Kids think कि मैं हाँ मैं ये भी कर लेता हूँ मैं वो भी कर लेता हूँ but career में मुझे क्या करना है मुझे नहीं पता. We have to pick strengths from this. हाँ ये भी कर लेता हूँ वो भी कर लेता हूँ. I participate in a lot of fests, but I don't know if I'm good with XYZ people skills, right? Picking out from that experience, picking out from things they do it just like that. Picking out the strengths and weaknesses from such experience helps them to think in lines of career, right? The first toolkit is backpack check. Okay? So this means what am I carrying? Backpack is you have a lot of things inside, right? I want to assess three things in this backpack: skills that I already have, skills that I want to learn, and things that I want to leave behind. So when I say skills that I already have, let's take an example of a UX design. This person wants to be a UX designer. Skills that they already have is of creative thinking, they have empathy for users, they have good problem solving, they can work on basic softwares, and they're able to take feedback constructively. Right? These are the skills that I already have. Now things I want to learn: how to create wireframes and prototypes, how to research on techniques to make the interface friendly for people, how to map a user journey is something what the child wants to learn, how to collaborate with other people, right? Because you're going to develop this for someone else, those people skills, and how to use some other softwares as well. So let's say these are the things I want to learn, and as compared to things that I want to leave behind. Let's say as a UX designer, I want to leave behind self down about my designs because what happens, I'm only creating. I'm in the creative process. So for someone who needs a lot of feedback, who needs a lot of appreciation, may not get it till you deliver the program and you hear it from users that, oh, this is really friendly. So this critic inside of me is I want to get rid of this fear of not being good enough, not being techy enough, fear of perfection for that matter. A lot of kids have that. A lot of social pressure, something that I want to leave behind. Now, this may sound like a lot of, general things, but putting it on paper for children makes a great difference. Because this is something they can reflect on with their wall, right? Every time I see this, okay, I'm engaging this, but I had decided to leave behind. And this is what enables me to more and more clarity, right? So, any doubts with the backpack thing? In
I
technique,
just want to ask, you just said the first thing, backpacking thing. There are three things. What was that? I
so
just
the three things I asked about is skills I already have, things that I want to learn, and things I want to
yeah.
leave behind. The second one is thought bubbles. These are the voices in my head. What others tell me I have to do, what I actually want to explore, right? Two different pathways. So this helps me separate my external pressure of society from my internal curiosity that I have. So let's say for a journalist, we map this down. Others tell me that why don't you do something stable like teaching or UPSC, right? This comes under the column of what others say I should do as against what I actually want to explore. I love telling stories. It matters to me to uncover the truth, right? That's the difference that I want to make in society. Other dialogue can be of there is no money in journalism. As against that, what I want to explore is I want to write for magazines or maybe start my own podcast that can maybe generate more revenue for me. Doing something on my own, right? Uh, some may say that it's too risky, late night field work, not safe for women. As against my search for my thrill for chasing a lead and reporting it live, and that's where I feel alive. when I've, uncovered the truth for a lot of people, for the masses. This helps me separate what people expect of me, जो मुझे लोग बोल रहे हैं, as compared to what excites me towards this career. And I get more and more clarity towards why do I want to do this. Third one is who inspires me. Top three people. Who inspires me? Okay. I do this for children for the first session itself. If they tell me I see a lot of confusion in the first session itself, and then I ask them, what about them inspires you? Because if I already think in terms of what about them inspires me, then I'm going to give you a social desirable answer. You're only going to hear Ratan Tata, APJ Abdul Kalam, and all these mainstream leaders that they have. But if you ask it in this manner, they may even say, my sister really inspires me. I see how she handles conflicts in her workplace, at work, even at home, how she handles conflicts. That way, I am enabled to think out of these socially desirable answers. So the third one becomes who inspires me. Yes, then you can ask more about what about them inspires you. Give me three traits of these people. How will you be like them? And then the further discussion can go on about what the child is giving on to you. It's necessarily we help the child understand that they don't have to make similar career choices as them. Right? I don't need to be a president of India to be inspired by him. But in terms of traits, in terms of virtues, in terms of the people that they are, is what qualities that I want to incorporate in my career. So the fourth one, we have doors of possibilities. This is a simple technique for students and even working professionals, this works well because, they are very overwhelmed with the anxiety of picking one career. So I'll ask them, that imagine you're standing in front of three doors and these three doors have three different lives for you. A different version of you is there in each universe. Can you describe me each of the door one by one? And one, maybe they're really successful artist, they're pursuing art and they're doing amazing, they're earning millions, right? And the other one, maybe they're doing art with a lot of other academic pursuits that they have. They may give you a lot of, vague sentences here and adjectives in terms of, I want to be successful. I want to have a lot of money. But it's necessary that we bring it down to objective, measurable goals, right? When I say I want to be successful, what do I mean by success? And I say I want to have a lot of money, what do I mean by a lot of money? For some people, it's lakhs of rupees. For some people, it's zillions of rupees. What do I aim at? I want to have a lot of adventure in my life. How do you define adventure? 6 महीने में एक बार ट्रिप लेनी है, हर महीने एक बार ट्रिप लेनी है, साल में एक बार ट्रिप ही चलेगी. So that way I want to be going into the details of how do they, describe their future, how do they want their career to look like. If I think the child is really creative, like they're into artistic expression of things, then I'll ask them to draw that perhaps, paint that for me. For young children, it works even better. Right? For the sixth, seventh bracket that we get, or for even eighth and ninth students, throw out your career field. And you can see different elements they'll have. Some will have their family in it too. Some will be standing alone on the hilltop that I made it through. Right? This helps me understand what is the orientation of this child. Whether they want to do something for themselves, or are they wanting to do a career with a lot of teamwork? Do they bring along people, or are they just aiming for something unrealistic for that matter as well? You see, this child is really notorious, but when it comes to career, they want to be an IAS officer. Well and good, but I want to understand and bridge this gap, which I may not gauge only by discussion. Drawing allows me to put these elements on paper. Coming to the fifth exercise, which is letter to future me. Some of us must have done this, and because our teacher made us do this in graduation, and that really helped me. Wherein you write a letter to yourself, maybe 1 year down the lane or 5 years down the lane, wherein you are addressing to this person, assuming that you've already achieved these things and things that you want to remind yourself. I wanted to be a really successful air hostess. I wanted to fly for Qatar. How did I achieve that? Did I meet all the requirements? Was I, not able to learn a certain thing? Is my makeup skills still up to date? Do I know how to swim? Right? Sanjana ma'am would say that's essential to be going for international airways. Right? So these can be some things that I can write in the letter. I'll show you a sample letter for you to get an idea. So this
There it
is
is.
subject line with Dear Future Me. Hey there, if you're reading this, it's been a whole year. I hope you're somewhere with a calm mind, full heart, and maybe a little smile on your face, even if life still feels messy. Right now, I'm sitting here thinking about who I want to become. I hope by now you've explored something new and exciting, even if it scared you a little. You've stayed true to what lights you up inside, even though others didn't understand it. You've made progress, not perfection, and you've been kind to yourself even when things didn't go as planned. I want to remind you of a few things. Your worth isn't based on achievements, it's in who you are every day. Doubts will come, but so will clarity. If you keep moving even slowly, don't forget the dreams you had, some big, some quiet. Make space for both. You're allowed to change your mind. That's not a weakness, that's growth. I don't know exactly where you will be, but I hope you're still curious, still caring, still showing up for yourself. So this style has highlighted everything that they would want the future himself to have. And it's really empowering, right? At a young age when you're really confused, it's really empowering for children. So yes, this is one activity that I also engage. Coming to the sixth tool that I have is the alternate universe theory. Okay. Now this works for all age groups. At all point, we have to make a CV or a resume, whatever it is that you are making, you have to make one layout of all your academic achievements. If this child is telling me that, I really want to be, for example, we have a wildlife photographer here. We have maybe made the roadmap. We know that this is what they want to pursue. Maybe I can sit with a child and make a CV for them. Now, this CV already tells me whatever I want to have. This is for Ria Mehra. She has given her job title, her contact, her number, her website name, perhaps, professional summary, right? How exactly how a CV should be. Right. Then the key skills are mentioned. She wants to know DSLR, mirrorless camera expertise. She wants to know how to do wildlife tracking, field research collaboration, photojournalism, nature storytelling, light editing, patience, camouflage, and early mornings. Then her professional experience is also noted down here. She wants to work for National Geographic already. So I've mapped it out, right? What will she be doing for them? Otherwise, where she wants to go, where is she done from her education from, certification, her projects and achievements, and her portfolio. If she already has a link for it, that can also be uploaded. So basically, I start thinking on the lines of where do I want to be in the career and not just pick one, right? Any doubts so far? So,
Maybe,
yeah,
maybe,
yeah, Mr. Rathod.
I was just thinking. I mean, I mean, for this particular tool, why exactly we need this tool?
For this is somewhat similar for roadmap. Okay, so this helps me plan it out already. The things that I want in my CV. You'll see students coming to graduation when they sit and make their CV, they feel, oh shit, I don't have a lot of things to write. There's not a good enough CV. Pre-planning that thing helps me
Making, yeah.
already target that.
Okay, understood. Yeah.
Hi, this is
Yes,
Guru.
Mr.
Yeah. So basically, see, this is after which session you're talking about. Though you're sharing its roadmap. Normally, what we do is
Yeah.
we take the students with whom we've already sat for almost twice, thrice. Now, during the time of roadmap, we start sharing this letter and maybe this kind of a CV where we like, maybe we try the student to visualize. It's more of like visualization is what I see in the letter. So a student who is confused, who be it, in one of the cases where the student wants to go for mass communication, he'd like to go for maybe wild photography, and he is a commerce graduate. So you imagine the kind of mental stigma he's into, where he is not. And over above, we're giving this kind of a so-called CV or visualized CV or maybe a letter. Won't that further disturb him? Above all, we have another 2 sessions down the line. So see, we have to see all the aspects. We have to see one, the kind of payment this gentleman has made. Let's be very practical, because we don't have a longer based thing where people are coming over and taking our time, and we're very practical on that part. So we have limited 5 sessions. In 5 sessions, maybe another third or fourth session, we try giving this CV visualization and all. He will be further asking for further, maybe another 4 or 5 sessions, and there'll be a stake for us as well. I hope I'm trying to explain. You're able to understand that, because after 5 sessions is the end for us. It's like you give us the money and you ask for the additional hours, right? Whereas in the current scenario, people are reluctant to even give those basic, after psychometric and that amount as well. So let's be practical in sharing these kind of letters, because visualizing is good. But what matters is if we're showing him 3 different roadmaps and we're sharing him 3 different CVs for visualizing, as per my understanding, we're not doing the right thing.
And then what's to add to this before I clarify?
Please go ahead. I mean, that's about it.
So I think maybe you joined it later in the session. My aim of disclosing all these toolkits is not to use it in one go,
Uh-huh.
right? You may or may not use it. One thing is that. And secondly, everything that I'm sharing is for the child to make, not for you to make. The letter, the CD. You may assist the child,
No, I
but you can
understand.
give them as homework activity for them to do.
Correct. I agree, but see, the child who has come, who's approached us for, after psychometric, having, kind of destined, listed three different career options for him or her to visualize this and further come up with something new to us,
Mhm.
really,
Understand that you can place this according to your sessions. It's not necessary you do it in the last session. Understand the agenda of this session. It is confused career clubs. When I say confused careers, that means the child is confused beforehand. So when I'm writing this letter, even the further things that I discussed with you, it was in the aim of what I do in the first session itself, which we call rapport building with our curriculum, right? In the first session itself, when the child is not able to give you enough input, when you ask what is it that you like, what is it that routine interests you, what subjects do you like, then if they're not able to do it, then I'll use this. And as for the last technique that I've been discussing about CV, when the child has three roadmaps, they can pick one and then make CV for the same. I can just share a sample one to them and they can make it in their accordance. I don't have to necessarily enlist it in my services. Okay?
Sure.
And
Let's
I
go
think
ahead. Sure.
I was just saying that, I mean, in any case, we want to, I mean, what I think is that we should give this as an activity in our last session as well to the candidate, because this will actually make them prepare. I mean, be ready for the interview, or maybe future requirement of interviews, right? So that will make them prepare for that. It's not something that we can decide that when we can give it, right? It can be before as well, to understand the confusion, what is that, and then maybe at the later stage where he's ready to go out and give the interviews, right? So it can be at both the times.
Yeah, exactly. Definitely. Yes, Mrs. Sandhya, you were asking something.
नो आई वाज जस्ट आस्किंग दैट ये सब कुछ आपको एक मतलब मैंडेटरी नहीं है बच्चे को देने के लिए. यू विल जज कि क्या जरूरी है इस वक्त एंड देन यू विल यूज इट अकॉर्डिंगली कि अगर अच्छा ठीक है इससे फ्यूचर लेटर लिखवा लेते हैं, मे बी दिस विल हेल्प दिस चाइल्ड, या जो भी आप सिचुएशन देख रहे हैं उसके बाद अच्छा इनका अल्टरनेट यूनिवर्स सीवी करा लेंगे तो इट माइट हेल्प देम. सो इट्स नॉट मैंडेटरी. आई थिंक आपको सिचुएशन के हिसाब से एक्टिविटी करानी है उनसे.
And all the tools for that matter. It's not to be enlisted in any of your services. This is just for you to know as a career counselor, right? Because some students are really rigid in terms of their confusion or in terms of feeling overwhelmed. Before you remove that feeling, you will not be able to go free flowingly through the other sessions. So that is my towards. Moving on to the next one, you can also do is a lot of reflecting questions that you can ask them, right? Now you can do this maybe in the first session, or maybe at some point when they're feeling confused. Specifically for working professionals, we may use this, right? Because earlier discussion was more with children. So you can ask them about what part of your current work energizes you as compared to what drains you. Is the job, the organization, the field, or just the current role? What about the whole scenario is bothering you, specifically while switching careers? Other thing you can ask is, what did you do to enjoy as a kid or as a teenager before you were told what you have to do, what you should be doing? Next, you can ask if money wasn't the factor, what would you do? Let's say for 6 months or for 1 year. Last one, maybe you can ask about what skills you've developed right now and you want to transfer somewhere else. That can mean some of the questions you can ask for them to reflect on their current job. After this, so let's say if we are to make the action plan for this, now coming to students and working professionals again, you can ask them about what fields are they curious in. Right? This is a very simple one. Search about them on YouTube, social media, LinkedIn, wherever they can. Follow people that they are already, wanting to become like, or they want to search about. In LinkedIn, you can also go and approach people, talk to them of their professions. For example, I wanted to become a neuropsychologist before I got into this. For that, I actually went and I spoke to people on LinkedIn who were doing it from my dream college per se. And I asked them, what is the placement like? What is the career like? And they gave me a big reality check that it is too niche and I may not be able to land up a job. Like I'll be eligible. If I am, I may get a good job. But landing up, the necessity wise, it is not a great job. So I took my lesson there itself and diverted somewhere else. So that research is going to help you a lot. For working professionals, what you can also tell them to do many experiments while they are working. Let's say they are already stuck in a 9 to 5 and then it's not working out for them. What these people feel is a lot of impulsivity to drop career already. Right? They want to switch something, they want to start something. But what I insist on is taking a pause and reflecting on the psychometric test and seeing what is it that they want to get into and do they already have the skill set to get into that job. If not, start with small courses, start with interacting people, start with doing internship, volunteering work if that is relevant. Start somewhere small which you can dedicate 3 to 4 hours of your day, not more. Because I also want to sustain my job. And I won't be able to do that 3 to 4 hours for a long time with my career, right? Because that becomes exhausting with a full time job. That means I have no leisure time. So only past that, when I feel the thrill of pursuing this option or this career, am I going to drop it down and I'm eligible enough to be transitioning to this career. Okay, so making calculated shifts in your career is really important, specifically for working professionals. Next, what we can do as make a timeline as we did do for skill building and what time are you going to allocate for exploration, what time are you going to allocate for building skills, training, and how much time are you going to take to transition into different jobs. Creating a timeline for working professionals becomes one more thing that we can exercise when they are even if they're confused or even if they want to try something else. That's the bit from my end. Some things that you can use with this set of people to go away with their confusion. Let me know if you have anything to add, anything that you have used and worked out for you. And again, understand that you may not use all of it with everyone. The dose technique, the reflection, and everything does not need it to be used. With confusion, it's necessary that we reflect and come back because it's very easily these students get swayed with other people's opinion. हाँ हाँ ये ठीक कर लग रहा है आज ये कर लेते हैं हाँ हाँ वो ठीक लग रहा है ये कर लेते हैं पर पापा ये बोल रहे हैं ये कर लेते हैं. So when I do these things on paper and pen, you will see its utility being reflected. So that's the bit from my end, everyone. And let me know if you have any doubts to be clarified on.
I have a doubt.
Yes,
Say
yes.
for in a scenario where I just met a 12th grader, whom I'm teaching accounts to, that boy, and I just generally asked him, "What do you want to pursue further in, for your career and all?" So the first
Mhm.
question that he came across was, "I want to do CFA." I said, "Why do you
Mhm.
want to do CFA?" He's like, "It gives a lot of money and it's an in trend right now." That was his answer to me. So,
Mhm.
and for the knowledge that he has with his account base or could be his commerce knowledge, he's a very average student. And in my knowledge of what CFA is quite a intense course which they have to study. And the boy doesn't look that serious with his academic or with whatever
Mhm.
course that he may be doing. So now, how do
Mhm.
I approach to such a boy and tell him that either he is to get serious with his studies and have his commerce
Mhm.
base strong before he gets into the course, or to do a little bit of research more on the course, and he didn't even know what the course was about, but he just like
Mhm.
CFA करना है, lot of बहुत पैसा है उसमें. That was his answer to me.
Mhm.
So now how do I
Mhm.
approach such a child?
Yes, so maybe perhaps you can try the backpack thing with him. You can sit down with the AI corner. You can list down all the things that come up on the skill board with what you need to be, what you need to have for a CFA program. And then you can discuss the skills that they already have, things that they want to learn, and things that they can leave behind. Right.
Okay.
So when they see a lot of things in the things that I want to learn, they get serious about it because
Okay.
they only have to write that with themselves, right? And things that they already have, and that will be little less. They'll realize the seriousness of it.
Yes.
And maybe another thing you can do with them is have them talk to someone who's already in the field. Ask them to talk to someone who's already in the field. Maybe right now they're just hearing it from fellow students. That is why their picture is a little unrealistic. And even if you convey, it may come as she's trying to break my ambition. So let
Hmm.
it come from a third person POV who's already into field and giving an opinion.
Yeah, that will make sense.
Okay.
Yeah, that's correct. Thank you so much.
Welcome. Okay, then, everyone. Thank you so much for joining in. See you for the next session that will be happening again on Thursday. Till then, see you. Bye bye. Take care.